Haumitakiapi. Welcome, everyone. Several years ago, I was teaching a Lakota language and culture spirituality class near Zurich, Switzerland. And this class was a wonderful class. It was one of the best classes I ever taught. And we were learning the basics, learning how to greet each other, learning how to do dialogues. We were really having fun, and they were learning expressions like, it's really nice to see you, which in Lakota is Lila Dayan wa Chionke. A woman says it like that. A man says Lila Dayan wa Chionke lo. And in the Lakota way, when you're greeting somebody for the first time, you're meeting them for the first time, you call them according to what generation they are. So, for example, if you're talking to somebody who is about the same generation as you, then you call them cousin. If you are talking to somebody who is a generation of your parents, then you call them auntie or uncle. If you're meeting somebody who is a generation younger than you, then you call them either niece or nephew. It all depends if they're a man or a woman, male or female. And all grandmas and grandpas are called grandma and grandpa, and all grandchildren are called grandchildren. In Lakota, I mean, there's words for those. So, since we were all basically the same generation, we used the cousin terms. And a man has two cousin terms that he says is male cousin and female cousin. And likewise, a woman also has two cousin terms, male cousin and female cousin. And these are all different words. In Lakota, when a man is dressing a man, when a man's dressing a man, that didn't sound right. Gee, what the heck's going on there? No, I'm just teasing. Nothing wrong with that. Let me say it differently. A different choice of words. When a man is meeting a man for the first time, he will call him Tranhanshi, which is male cousin. If the man is meeting a woman for the first time, he will call her Hangashi, which is female cousin. Now, these two words are spoken only by men. Now, for women, when a woman meets a woman for the first time, she will call her Jephanshi, or some people will say Stephanshi. Means the same thing. This is her female cousin. If she is meeting a man for the first time, she will call him Shicheshi. That means male cousin. So we learned those terms. And as they were dialoguing, they would dialogue with each other and things like that in this class. And they were learning lots of things. It was really a fun class. I really enjoyed that time. Well, anyway, there was this one student, and I will keep his name private because of confidentiality. I'll just say my student, okay? My student, he and his girlfriend, they like to ride horses, and they go to this place near the foothills of the Alps, and these kind of places are called Ponyhof. This is where you can go to ride horses. I don't know if they pay a little fee or whatever, but a ponyhof is like a place, it's like a ranch hotel kind of thing, because some of them have restaurants too. So you can go there, spend the day, ride horses and stuff. And some of these ponyhofs put on events, and you can spend several nights there because they have like a little hotel, some of them. It's really nice. And I did a seminar at a ponyhof before, so I know what it's like. It's really nice. Well, anyway, my student and his girlfriend were at this ponyhof that they usually go to, and they were going to ride horse because they like to go. They like riding horses. They've been here many times. And when they were there was this one horse that was in a corralled off area all by himself. There were no other horses in there. And the owner was nearby, so they asked the owner, what's the deal with this horse? And the owner said, well, there was some people who were going to send this horse to the wherever, where they become dog food and glue. And the owner's wife wanted to save the horse, so they got him and they brought him back, and now they're trying to figure out what to do, because this horse was obviously very abused by its previous owner. I don't know what happened, but it ended up at this ponyhof. And these are really nice people that owned this ponyhof, and they didn't know how to get to this horse because if you tried approaching it, it would attack you. It didn't let anybody near. They couldn't put anything on it. It was very disheartening, and they didn't know what to do with this horse. And it was a magnificent looking animal. And my student was standing there, and his girlfriend watching the horse. It was a very beautiful horse. And out of the blue, my student got the idea to talk Lakota to the horse. Without warning. No, this was a male horse, yeah? So without warning, he said, Tahashi. And here the horse's ears kind of were moving around like radar, yeah? Like, what is this? And then my student said, Lila Tayan wa chiang kelo. And the horse turned its head and looked at him. And then my student said, Dokesh keya unhe, which means, how are you? And the horse started walking towards him. And then he started to introduce himself, yeah? That my student, he was saying his name. I'll just call him, what's a typical Swiss name? I don't know. I don't know what that's Swiss name. That's like saying, what's a typical American name? There's a bunch of them. Well, anyway, let's just call him, well, it's got to be a German sounding name. Let's just say his name was, Gunther. Okay. Typical German name. Okay, so let's say my student's name is Gunther, and no, that's not really his name. So the horse came to my student and his girlfriend, and it was standing in front of them. Of course, my student and his girlfriend were outside the corral, but the horse was still facing them. So my student said, Gunther emachiapi. This means, I am called Gunther. And then he said, Lila taya adachielo, which means, it's really nice to meet you. And then the horse put its head very close to where their hands were. And so my student reached out, and the horse let him touch his face and was rubbing his face. And then my student continued dialoguing with him, what little Lakota dialogue that he knew. He started just talking with the horse like that. And the owner was like, what's going on here? He just stood there and watched. He didn't want to move, yeah? So they were standing there talking to the horse, and the owner quietly went and got his wife and told her, hurry up, come look, you have to see this. So they went over there and were watching, and the owner's wife started to cry because somebody was able to get through to the horse. So my student was talking with the horse. The horse was letting my student touch his face, and fed him some apples or carrots or whatever. And he was eating out of my student's hand. And it was really a cool experience. And then they started, let's not push it. Yeah, let's just leave it at this. And then so they went to do some other things. But before my student left, him and his girlfriend went to the horse one more time, and the horse just came up to them. And again, my student said, Lila Dachielo, it's nice to meet you. And then he said, Doksha Akewa Chiankink Delo, which means I will see you again. So the horse was really calm. And then they left, and of course, my student and his girlfriend, they were kind of crying a little bit, and everybody was crying because it was just magical what had happened. And then every weekend they went to go see this horse, and my student continued, talking with the horse in Lakota, and it was really a wonderful experience. And then a month later, I came to Switzerland again, because I would go there one weekend a month. I think it was the first weekend of every month. And he was telling me this story, and he was telling it to the class. And he said that he just wanted to share that, and the class was in tears, because it's such a beautiful story. And so I thought, in the Lakota tradition, the horses are believed to come from the West. And historically, this is accurate, because the horses that we know of today, they're descendants of the horses that were brought by the Spanish conquistadors. And they had a Zuni or Pueblo revolt in the Southwest, where the Indians there totally defeated the conquistadors, and a lot of their horses escaped and ran north. Now this is like New Mexico, Arizona area. And the horses just ran through the area, and then some stayed up in the mountains, and some kept going and going. And then when they get into the Black Hills area, they're coming through there and coming onto the prairie. So where the Lakota ancestors were living was on mostly the east side of the Black Hills. So when the horses came through there, it appeared they were coming from the west. So they're always associated with the west direction. In our tradition, the west direction is dealing with the mind in mental illnesses. The power of the west is used to cure mental illnesses. And horses are a part of that cure. And there is a ceremony that we have where the power of the West is called in, which includes wakia. It also includes dogs and other things too. I'm not going to say everything on here, because there are people who would exploit this kind of information. So I'm just going to speak generally about it. Okay, so when they do this ceremony, in the beginning, they sing a 4-direction song. And the horses seem to face those directions. As soon as they hear this song, they hear this melody, they start dancing. And then they face the west, because that's the first direction in our tradition. And as the song goes, first it addresses the west and the north and the east and south, and then goes back to the west again. And then they look up and they address the above, the blue in the sky, which is Shkan. And then they look to the earth. and they sing to the earth. So this is how the direction song goes. And there's a moment of silence after the song is over, and that's when you go into yourself. You introspect. You think of inside of you where your physical body, your mind, your emotions, and your soul, and where they connect is what's called the sacred center. And this is where the seventh direction is, and everybody has it. Every creation has this. So, when they sing this song, and people are facing the directions, the horses do it automatically for some reason. They just do it. Yeah, they face the west. When you sing the second verse, they turn and face the north. They do it on their own. It's really an interesting phenomena. Now, it may not happen every time. Like if you are thinking, well, I'm going to sing this song and let's see if what David said is really true. You see, when you come thinking like that, the horses are going to pick up on it and they may not do it. Yeah, it's usually this is done during ceremony. And the ceremony, you do it because you believe in it. And this is a very holy, sacred thing. So, this is how it is in that ceremony. And even just to hear the song, some horses will start doing that. So, I was thinking about, okay, I think I'll teach this class this song, because I also taught the class spiritual things too. I taught them how to pray in Lakota and also to sing in Lakota and even to do some fun dances, yeah, like rabbit dance and round dances. It's really, really fun. So we had social things happening as well as spiritual things. Well, I taught them the song. This was before smartphones, and people would record things with their MP3 players or their iPods or similar devices like that. This way they could learn the song. I gave them the lyrics. We learned to sing it together, and then they had the lyrics, they had the recording, and they were able to learn to sing this song until I come back the next following month. So, my student learned this song really fast because he wanted to sing this to the horse. Not to see if the horse would do it. He just wanted to sing it for the horse. That's all. And so he went there and he sang the song. He learned it really good, and he went there and sang the song. And he didn't tell his girlfriend or the owners of the ponyhof, he didn't tell them the information that I told him concerning how the horses face these directions. So, when he started singing this song, the horse faced the west. And the owner was like, huh? What's that? And then my student turned to the north and then sang the second verse while the horse followed him. And he did it all the way around, yeah, all four directions. He faced it, then he went back to the west again while he sang to the above and also sang to our grandmother Earth. And then when he was quiet for the seventh direction, the horse was quiet too. He stayed still in that direction. And then my student said, "Ho, mitakwe ayasing." And the horse nodded, turned around and came over to my student. And was really making like he was talking to my student. And he let my student touch him some more. And then my student just got the idea, I'm going to slowly go in and just stand there beside him. And he did that, and the owner of the ponyhof, his wife, was really crying because what they saw was something very, very special. And even my student's girlfriend was in tears. He said he just thought he would do it. Yeah, he just got the feeling to do this for the horse. and he was talking to the horse as an equal on the same level. Because the horse, they are animals of empathy. When I taught this class in Switzerland, like I said, I taught them spiritual things too, and I shared a lot of stories with them, and a lot of them seemed to adopt those into their own lives, and a lot of them were already thinking like that because some of them come from farms and they know what it's like, that how animals communicate and communicating to plants. Some Swiss people were already this way. So when I told them the Lakota ideas on all life being on the same level and that what happens to one group affects everybody, this is Mitako Easi, and what Wamakashka means is all of creation. The Christians say that Wamakashka means animals. No, it does not. Wamakashka means all of creation. This is all people, all animals, all birds, all life, all plants. It's everything. Water, the air, fire. It's everything. This is Wamakashka. And so they like the idea of seeing plants and animals on the same level as people, and that in our culture, when we are taking plants for medicine, for example, we apologize to the plants because they're people, they are a nation, and we say we are going to use this to help people, whether it's to feed people or to heal people or both. And we're very respectful. We always give something back. We never just take. And the same thing with animals. When we take an animal for food, it's not just for us, it's for everybody in our group, whether that is a camp or just people you're with. It's for everybody. It's not just for you. And we always apologize before we take a plant or animal. We apologize to that nation. And we say we are going to use this for the people, whether it's for food or medicine. And then we give something back to those nations, whether it's a plant or animal. This was the ancient way. So when I said this to my students, they really liked that because some of them already were doing things like that, especially the ones who lived on farms. They were already doing things like that and they liked it. It was really nice. So when this incident with my student and this horse was happening, this was towards the end of the course, so he knew lots of Lakota things by that time. And so this was his mindset, to see the animals and the plants as the same level as humans are, and that we are caretakers. But we look at creation as people. We look at them and we respect them. And like I said, if we have to take something for food or medicine, we apologize first. And then we say this is for the people, to help the people. And then we give something back. Then we give thanks for that. This is how that's done. And so my student, see, he has this knowledge now. And he has this way of thinking that when you communicate to all life, you are regarding them as important and necessary to be here so that all may live. Then you start seeing things in a bigger picture. Then you see that we all have something in common. This concept in Lakota is called ikche. This is what it means. And some people say ikche means common. Like when people say, yeah, I'm ikche wichasha. I'm a common man. I'm just a common man. Nothing special about me. That's the English way of thinking, yeah? But in the Lakota perspective, ikche is really beautiful. It's everything I just said. When you see all life, all plants, all animals, all creation, everything in this universe and on this earth, and everything also inside of you too, is all relations too. It's all important. Everything is here for a reason. We just have to live as best as we can. And then we will know what that is. That reason is love. Take care of yourself mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally as best as you can. You can also nurture that in your communication to one another. When I say communication to one another, this includes everything. Plants, animals, everything. You see it all as important. And when you have this kind of perspective, this is ikche. You're seeing everything as important, everything as necessary, everything on the same level, on the same plane, everything together, everything connected. That makes us all relatives. When you think like that, the plants and animals pick up on that, and they react and respond accordingly. So since my student was like this, the horse picked up on that, and he came up to him. And through time, eventually, he let my student ride him. That was the first time that this horse allowed somebody to ride him, because the horse acknowledged that my student regarded the horse as important, as equal, not as a beast of burden, but as a relative. The horse picked up on that. Plants pick up on that too. Yeah? So the Ponyhof guy and his wife were just amazed at what happened. And then next thing you know, my student is teaching them what he knows from me. Yeah? But what I know is not my knowledge. I don't own that. This comes from everything. I'm just passing it through. So, but it was nice. Yeah, it's a very beautiful story. And I want to share that with you. And just think about it. Now, as I just said, this also is similar with plants too. One time I was moving into this new apartment, and the people who lived in there, they lived in there for like 40, 50 years. It was an old couple. The man had passed on. His wife was bedridden and needed 24-hour care. So her family came, moved her out. And I was able to get this apartment. I lived in the same building, just on a different level. And I needed a bigger place. And this was a nice big apartment. So the landlord allowed me to move in. I told him, boy, I'd like to live in there. And he said, okay. That's simple. Anyway, he really helped with the renovation because this couple were smokers. So, boy, that place just reeked with cigarette smoke. 40, 50 years, yeah? The wallpaper was, oh, gosh, it was awful. But total renovation was really nice. But there was a plant there. And this thing was placed in the corner on the side of the building where the sun hardly ever shines. It was not near any window. And this plant was growing in a way that it was trying to get any sunlight that it could. And it was growing in a very hunched over way, like it was trying to go towards this window that it was close to. And I was like, oh, that's so sad to see that. It was still hanging in there. And so I decided I'm going to take this person and see what I can do. I talked to a good friend of mine who runs a plant and flower store, and she came over, took a look, and said, okay, this is how you take care of this plant. She's an expert on this, and she's really good with plants. They really like her. Yeah? I'm not saying that to be funny. This is really true. And I did what she said. I put the plant near a window on the side of the building where the sun shines, and after several weeks, you could tell it was happy. It was growing tall and straight, and it was starting to blossomed really wonderfully. It still was a little bit crooked, but it was feeling much better. And it was really nice. And I started talking to it every day, and it seemed to respond. I was really thankful. Yeah, I was like, wow, you're my buddy. Yeah, you're my friend. I'm saying this to a plant. It's beautiful. Yeah, it was one of the best friends I ever had. And then a few years later, I went through a very, very, very out of the blue difficult experience. Just bowled me over. I wasn't expecting this incident to happen in my life. I was hurting really bad emotionally because I was living a good life, and this thing happened just out of the blue, just threw me for a loop. This is how life can be. Yeah, that you are living a good life, but out of the blue, a difficulty can happen. And that's okay. It doesn't mean you earned it. It doesn't mean you did anything wrong. Nature's just that way. You have to hang in there as best as you can. Make the best out of the situation. Learn from it as much as you can. Talk to the earth. Talk to everything. Express those emotions in a healthy way, as long as you don't hurt anybody, including yourself. Those emotions have to come out when you go through a difficulty. Cry, get angry, feel the fear, and then start bringing your mind in. Yeah, start bringing your mind, and you start thinking, what can I learn from this? How can I make the best of this situation? Because when you start thinking like that, you're using your heart and your mind together. And then eventually a solution will come. But while you're doing that, you're moving. You just don't feel it. You're moving on a healthy road, and you're really, really moving to a nice situation. You just don't see it yet, but you are getting there because you're steering it. Yeah, when you use your heart and mind together, like what I just said, you don't realize it, but you're actually steering yourself to the next wonderful situation in your life. So as I was doing this plant, it seemed to be taking care of me somehow. Yeah, I get a little emotional just thinking of that because, it's like, hey, my friend, like he was talking to me, or the plant was talking to me and saying, my best friend, you helped me, now I want to help you. Sorry for the long pause, but that always gets me emotional when I think of that time. It's a very beautiful experience for me. It's a sacred experience for me. And I got through the experience. I was able to come out of it into a very nice situation. And the plant lived a long life, and I'm very thankful that it was in my life. When I say I've met some very nice people in my life, this is one of them. I'm not joking. Yeah, this is one of them. See, when you think like that, the animals and plants pick up on that, because this is a certain frequency that plants and animals are always communicating in. So when you think like this, they realize, hey, he's in our frequency, or she's in our frequency. And then when you start talking to plants and animals like this, they pick up on that, because we're all relatives. This is what happens when you think in this perspective. Then you really can understand what Mitakwe Oyasing means. That we're all related, we're all connected. And it's not just the things around you, it's inside of you too. When you are going through a hard time, or even you're going through an nice time too, it doesn't matter. When you wake up in the morning and you can stand in front of the mirror and you can say, I love you. Or just say it to yourself. You don't even have to have a mirror. Yeah? Just embrace yourself. Put your hands under your armpits and put your thumbs on your chest. Just hug yourself and say, I love you. You're a wonderful person. This will be a good day. This shall be a good day. And even if it's a difficult day, but if you start it like that, you'll still learn something from that difficult day. And when you handle difficulties, like I explained earlier, it's gaining knowledge, it's gaining wisdom, and those are blessings. So it was a good day. Yeah, when the day's over and you think about it, you had a difficult time, maybe you had a difficult time at work. At the end of the day, you can think about it. You can say, what can I learn from this? And make the best out of the situation, and you learn something. It was a good day after all. The difficulty did not win. Yeah? It didn't overwhelm you, as long as you have that perspective. And like I said, talking to plants and animals also helps too. You also talk to yourself in a healthy way. You talk to yourself and tell yourself you're thankful for being here, no matter what situation you are in. Really, this is the place to begin, because the first Lakota star knowledge concept is reality begins within. So this is why we do that. So you communicate to yourself, you communicate to all creation, and then you're in this perspective. This is the Ikje perspective. This is what plants and animals and all creation, they're all in that frequency. So when we can put ourselves in that frequency, then you can really see all the miracles and the beauty that are happening every second, every breath you take. This is love. That's the truth, my relatives. Doksha ake. Until next time. Thank you very much for taking the time to listen to this video. I really appreciate it. And if you would like to send a special thanks in support of this channel, look at the bottom of this video where the title is, and right under that, where it says like, dislike, and share, right in that area, slide it towards the left, and you will see the symbols change, and then you will see a heart-shaped button that says thanks on it. If you would like to click on there to send your thanks of support, I would really appreciate it, as I really do enjoy making these videos and speaking with you and spending some time with you. So again, thank you very much for listening. To learn more about Lakota spirituality, I have written a book called Wichocha Otechige. This book also includes Lakota star knowledge information. All the videos that I make, which are about Lakota spirituality, Lakota star knowledge, and cultural information, are based on this book. This book costs 99 American dollars. This price includes the shipping cost. And to learn more about Lakota language, I have written a Lakota language book called Chante Etanha Owoglake, Speaking from the Heart. And all my Lakota language videos are based on this book. This book costs 119 American dollars. This price includes the shipping cost. I also teach online, and I give spiritual consultations as well. If you are interested in any of my services and products, you can send payment via PayPal to my email address, which is hehaka7@yahoo.com. That's HEHAKA, the number 7 @yahoo.com. When you send your payment, please include your shipping address and your email address. Lila Pilamayelo. Thank you very much. In the Lakota way, everything is circular. As a result, we do not have a word for goodbye in the Lakota language. And so instead we say until next time, which in Lakota is Doksha Ake. And I will catch you in the next video.